Hello and welcome. I am Pranay Upadhyay and you're watching World Today. We are starting this bulletin with the breaking news. Ukraine and Russia, their delegations are meeting in Istanbul. Ukrainian delegation is being led by Security Council Secretary and former Defense Minister of Ukraine, Rustem Umerov. The meeting marks the first direct engagement between Russia and Ukraine after previous rounds of talks in Istanbul in May and June. The last round of talks between Russia and Ukraine took place on 2nd of June. And this meeting is happening at a time when President Donald Trump has already warned Russia with a 50-day deadline. So this is a crucial round of talks between Russia and Ukraine taking place in Istanbul. This prepares ground for a future meeting between President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. So this is a big breaking news coming in right now from Istanbul, the city in Turkey. And this meeting, we will get you all the details regarding this meeting which is taking place in Istanbul. And let's move on to another big story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-nation tour. On Thursday, he embarked on a crucial visit to United Kingdom with a formal signing of India-UK Free Trade Agreement, which is expected to be the centerpiece of his two-day trip. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold wide-ranging talks with British Prime Minister Kai Steymer during his fourth visit to United Kingdom. He is also scheduled to meet King Charles III in London before leaving for Maldives on 24th of July. Prime Minister Steymer is set to host Prime Minister Modi at Chequers, the British Prime Minister's official country residence near London. And India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is also accompanying Prime Minister Modi, and he's likely to sign the free trade agreement alongside his UK counterpart, Jonathan Reynolds, in the presence of two prime ministers. This FTA is a result of 3 years of hard bargain. Britain sees this deal as the biggest trade win since Brexit and hopes it will inject the fresh momentum into the areas of defense, research, tech partnership with India. As far as the India-UK FTA is concerned, this is considered as a big victory, and this is going to open the 99% tariff line for trade between India and the United Kingdom. In year 2023 and 24, the bilateral trade between the two countries have already crossed the mark of $55 billion. The United Kingdom is India's sixth largest investor with an investment figure of USD 36 billion invested so far, while nearly 1,000 Indian companies are there in Britain, employing around 100,000 people. And Indian investment in the UK stands at close to $20 billion. This India-UK FTA is seen as a very encouraging sign, and especially the Indian community in United Kingdom is quite excited not only about this FTA but also about the fourth visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to United Kingdom, and people are quite excited there. And let me give you the fresh information about Prime Minister Modi's visit. He has reached London and Prime Minister Modi is on a two-day visit to London. And he will be meeting not only Prime Minister Kai Steymer, his British counterpart, but also King Charles III. And this is a very important and a significant visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Indian community is quite excited there. And how is the mood there in London? Let's look at the report captured by my colleague from London, Lavina Tandon.
For the fourth time, briefly, short but very significant trip that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be making here to London on the 23rd of evening. He arrives, and then on the 24th afternoon he has a bilateral talk with his counterpart Prime Minister Keir Starmer and expected to sign this free trade agreement that has been going on and being anticipated, and negotiations happening for the past 4 years. This agreement is expected to take the trade between the two countries to $120 billion, almost a double by 2030. So short, but a very significant trip. Also from the point of view that he will be raising the questions of Khalistani issue, as well as the issue of extradition of Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya, and that of Lalit Modi as well. In addition to this, he will be calling upon King Charles III towards the evening and then head straight off to the state visit to Maldives. Lavina Tandon for India Today from London. And I've got here very little, small, cute girl, Svecha. What are you doing?
I'm doing a dance.
Okay, what dance is it?
Bharatanatyam.
So what are you performing? What's your name?
I'm Pravana and I'm performing a dance as well.
Okay, what dance is it and what's your message for the Prime Minister?
It's a Bharatanatyam dance.
And you have seen the report captured by my colleague, and now I'm being joined by Lavina Tandon from London, my colleague from United Kingdom. Lavina, what is the latest update about? Because we have just got the information, but tell us the latest input about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival there in London. What is the information you have, and what is there in the agenda for Prime Minister Modi's visit?
Pranay, I'm going to start with the diaspora because that's the first thing that happens when Prime Minister Modi goes anywhere else, and including here in London. So he lands in a few hours from now, and the diaspora is already geared up. There are 15 buses that are coming from 9 to 10 locations all across London, where people are going from very young people, young performers. I spoke to a Bharatanatyam dancer. She's going to be performing Ganesh Vandana, along with many others, women, men, and some are going just to say thank you, some going to say welcome, and others are even going with letters asking them to come to their village and whatever else they want to say. So there is a huge welcome that has been organized. I must add there, Pranay, that this was a very hush-hush trip in a way that not much was known for a while. So all this preparation was done in a very short space of time. But I am told by the people who have organized, which are various diaspora organizations, that they got about 800 plus registration and everyone was vetted. Their passports were checked. I was looking when I was by the bus, and then they have been taken. There is a security concern always when it comes to Prime Minister. So I'll get on to the security issue then, that there is heavy security, and the Metropolitan Police have arranged for customary security as it happens, and all precautions are being taken. Now, third point, Pranay, on the agenda. The agenda, the biggest thing on the agenda is, of course, signing of the FTA, which is supposed to take place in the first half on the 24th of July. As we know, Commerce Minister is accompanying the Prime Minister, and the two Commerce Ministers are expected to sign the FTA in the first half. In addition to this, in the bilateral talks between the two Prime Ministers, one on the agenda is, of course, the security concerns when it comes to the issue of Khalistan, not only here, but also how unrest that it caused. So more action and stringent actions on anything that happens here. Number two is, of course, the extradition of...
Yes, actually, I wanted to come to this point because the extradition of Indian fugitives and Indian economic offenders have been a long pending issue between India and United Kingdom. So can we expect, some major announcement from UK, because you have been tracking the stories of Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi and sorts of that. So what is there and what are you picking up from the UK administration?
Indeed. First, may I just say that Lalit Modi has not gone through any extradition. There has not been any process with regards to that. So though we have been told that he will pick up the issue, but there is no extradition matter with regards to Lalit Modi. Now, the two extraditions that have happened is that of Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya. Now, that extradition, so if I can say the two people that I spoke about have knocked all the legal doors, and all of them have been shut, and the extradition has been granted. Yet the question, of course, remains that they have not returned to India because there are other legal recourses that people can take to, and that's what has happened. And as I know, it is the political asylum that both of them have asked for. Now, this process is a confidential process, so it's not open to public scrutiny. That's why we have not been able to hear much about that. So this is where the entire issue is, that it is a political asylum. And the other part of it is, Pranay, which I must add, is that it can take as long as it takes. So there is no timeline to political asylum. And that's
You can call
And that is a
it
point of
loophole or
frustration for
that's
many
a
people in
provision.
India, Lavina. But what I could make out from your presence, in the background, I could see the Parliament Square, the location. That is the same place where we have witnessed the desecration of Indian flag in 2018 when Prime Minister Modi visited United Kingdom. What are the security arrangements being ensured by the Metropolitan Police and the UK security establishment?
So the security arrangements, I have been told, are appropriate and as the protocol demands for any prime minister. Yes, we understand that. I was here when I covered this very situation. When I distinctly remember the day when the flag was taken down and mistreated, and that has happened over a period of time, and that is why the matter will be picked on, because it is only increased in the past few years since 2018. So security arrangements are tight, they're appropriate. Now, of course,
definitely security arrangements will be
details
very appropriate, befitting Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit there. Thank you very much for all the updates, Lavina, and keep tracking this big development. We will bring you all the details pertaining to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to United Kingdom. And now let's move on to another big story. Because India and Pakistan had a verbal fight in the United Nations. India tore into Pakistan at the United Nations Security Council on Wednesday with the permanent representative of India, Ambassador P. Harish, slamming Islamabad for supporting terrorism and mismanaging its economy. Pakistan again tried misusing the United Nations Forum for raking up the Kashmir issue. During a high-level debate on peace and multilateralism, P. Harish branded Pakistan as a serial borrower of IMF and a nation steeped in fanaticism and terrorism. Harish also issued a strong message on the need for accountability in terror cases with the reference to the April 22nd terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu Kashmir, in which 26 innocent civilians have lost their lives. The action carried out on May 7th came amid heightened tension between India and Pakistan, and cross-border firing were reported during the operation, but hostilities ended 3 days later on May 10th. India clarified that this was agreed, and the ceasefire, which was enforced on 10th of May, was a direct impact of a conversation, of a talk between India and Pakistan, and that too on the request of Pakistan, following claims by the US President Donald Trump of mediating peace between the two nations.
The Indian subcontinent offers a stark contrast in terms of progress, prosperity, and development models. On the one hand, there is India, which is a mature democracy, a surging economy, and a pluralistic and inclusive society. At the other extreme is Pakistan, steeped in fanaticism and terrorism, and a serial borrower from the IMF. As we debate promoting international peace and security, it is essential to recognize that there are some fundamental principles which need to be universally respected. One of them is zero tolerance for terrorism. It ill behoves a member of the Council to offer homilies while indulging in practices that are unacceptable to the international community. Also be serious cost to states who violate the spirit of good neighborliness and international relations by fomenting cross-border terrorism. Recently, consequent to the gruesome terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, on 22nd April 2025, that led to the killing of 26 innocent tourists, and based on the Council statement of 25th April, where members of the Security Council underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice, India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which was focused, measured, and non-escalatory in nature. On achieving its primary objectives, a cessation of military activities was directly concluded at the request of Pakistan. Mr. President, there cannot be one standard approach to dispute resolution. The changing circumstances and context also need to be taken into account while considering any such efforts.
Now let's move on to another story pertaining to the big fight which is happening between President Donald Trump and his predecessor, President Barack Obama. The Trump administration has gone after former President Barack Obama and labeled allegations of treason against him. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has released documents claiming that members of Obama administration plotted to sabotage the 2016 elections. Our next story will give you the complete picture on this big fight.
No, Barack Hussein Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him, and so was Sleepy Joe Biden.
The debate over who rigged the 2016 election has finally been resolved. Claims made by President Trump's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Gabbard released documents which, according to her, implicates the members of Obama administration for treasonous behavior during 2016 election. This is absolutely the opposite of the allegations made earlier that Russia had tried to change the results of 2016 presidential election by hacking into the voting systems. And President Donald Trump took this opportunity to get back to his old adversary, Barack Obama. Calling it a witch hunt, President Trump lauded Gabbard for the revelations.
Sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that.
Terming Obama as the ringleader, Trump said that the former president called the shots for rigging the election.
It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
Trump also said that former President Barack Obama was guilty of treason. These comments came as Trump is already engulfed in a fierce fight with the Wall Street Journal over Jeffrey Epstein's story.
The leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they... Look, he's guilty. It's not a question, you know, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries.
Obama's office reacted to the allegations of treason as a weak attempt at distraction. The former president had earlier said that Trump was treating the presidency as a reality show.
I did hope, for the sake of the country, that he might show some interest in taking the job seriously. But it hasn't happened. He hasn't shown any interest in doing the work or helping anybody but himself and his friends, or treating the presidency like a reality show that he can use to get attention.
Tulsi Gabbard reacted to Obama's statement. Speaking during an interview, Gabbard said, and I quote, "We will be releasing further documents tomorrow that will refute that statement. We will be pulling a whole host of statements that were made by the Obama administration, by Hillary Clinton, by senior Democrat officials, by their friends in the media that state over and over again. After this, January 2017, manufactured intelligence document was created that repeat the narrative. The report with declassified emails between Obama aides argued that they have suppressed intelligence findings that Russia had failed in its attempts to hack US election databases." With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
And now let's talk about another battlefront for President Donald Trump, because President Donald Trump is fighting on various fronts, and from domestic politics to international politics. And one of the front is tariff front, because the United States seems to be winning on these tariff fronts. United States has announced a massive trade deal with Japan. President Donald Trump has called it the largest trade deal in the history. The deal will make United States importers pay 15% reciprocal tariffs on Japanese goods imported to the United States, while Japan will make a $550 billion investment and thereby averting a threat of 25% tariff. Have a look on this report for more.
As August 1 deadline for new tariff imposition approaches, US President Donald Trump announced that US has reached the largest trade deal in history with Japan.
I just signed the largest trade deal in history, I think maybe the largest deal in history with Japan. And that was done with Japan. They had their top people here, and we worked on it long and hard, and it's a great deal for everybody. I always say it has to be great for everybody. It's a great deal. A lot different from the deals in the past, I can tell you that. But we're doing really well as a country. We're strong. We have a lot of money flowing in. The tariffs are kicked in better than anybody other than me and a few of the people in the room thought could happen, Howard and Scott. And I just want to thank you. You've been unbelievable allies, because you're really allies. That's what you've been, and we appreciate it. Some were very difficult, but you got there.
Months of negotiations, tariff threats have finally led to the deal.
We have reached an agreement with US President Trump regarding the Japan-US consultations on the US tariff measures. First, in Japan's core industry, automobiles and automobile parts, we have agreed to halve the additional 25% tariff imposed since the April of this year, bringing the total tariff rate, including the existing rate, to 15%. Ahead of the rest of the world, we achieved a reduction in automobile and auto parts tariffs without quotas restriction.
Japan, being the world's fourth largest economy, imports energy and food and exports electronics, machinery and motor vehicles. The US is its biggest exporter, and the announcement has given strength to yen against the US dollar. The agreement will give a boost to the Japanese automobile industry. Toyota, Honda and Nissan is expected to gain from this. Earlier, American importers had to pay a 27.5% levy when they shipped in Japanese cars, which now is being reduced to 15%. Japan, meanwhile, will also invest $550 billion into the United States. Japan's tariff negotiator, Rose Akazawa, wrote "Mission Accomplished" on X and posted a photo of himself in the White House pointing at an image of Trump talking to Prime Minister Ishiba during a prior meeting. Earlier, the contentious issue of rice sale to Japan prompted President Trump to send a tariff letter to Japan. Tensions, however, subsided after US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent met with Ishiba in Tokyo and said he was optimistic about the deal. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.